Welcome to South Sudan Diversity. My name is Tito.
About the fighting between Twic and Abiy Special Forces, Markal Forces, additional militias. This resulted in tragic loss of innocent lives and destruction of properties. We, the MPs of Twic, believe that this fighting at that time, on 10/2/2022, could have been avoided if appropriate steps were taken earlier by deploying SPDF forces at Akanyal, Agok, Joljok, and Anet to keep the adversaries apart, which are at the southern part of Key River. Therefore, the recent fighting on 10/10/2022 was a result of negligence of the concerned security authorities to consider the first fighting as of no value to require quick intervention. Many innocent lives have now been lost due to that mindset of ignoring very serious security issue. In spite of the fact that this fighting could have been avoided, it had occurred. We therefore offer our heartfelt condolences to all the bereaved families who have lost their loved ones on both sides. We, as representatives of the people, condemn the fighting that occurred between the two sides because of security negligence. Before going on to mention other issues, we have three core problems that trigger the conflict. The illegal Abiy box that has annexed some areas of Twic, the illegal survey of Anet and setting up of units by Abiy administration in Anet, Agok, Mading Joktiang, Joljok areas of Twic County, Warab State, which has hosted the Ngok people throughout the then South versus North Civil War. The ABC, that is Abiy Boundary Commission, mandated by the Comprehensive Peace Agreement, CPA, to define and demarcate south-north border lines as on 1st January 1956, which is Key River, and didn't consult nor consider the views of the neighboring communities of Twic and Ruweng. The annexation of part of Twic and Ruweng land to Abiy box was planned by Dinka Ngok intellectuals at the time, when Dr. Luke Abiong was the minister in the office of the President of South Sudan and the focal point of the government of South Sudan and Sudan border demarcation definition, who deliberately denied Twic and Ruweng communities their rights to participate or be consulted by ABC Commission. The legally and accepted international borderline between former Barghazal province of what is now South Sudan and present Sudan is as it stands on 1st January 1956. At the independence of Sudan on January 1st, 1956, and at independence of South Sudan on July 9th, 2011. In that connection, we, the national MPs of Twic and Ngok, met the President of the Republic, His Excellency Salva Kiir Mayardit, on the 6/10/2022, where he pledged that SPDF forces will be dispatched to Anet and its surrounding areas to maintain peace between the two communities. He also stated that Twic national MPs will have to go home and talk to people. Despite the fact that the first fighting took place on 10/02/2022, we still do remain focused on peace, and we will go home to talk to our people when the situation is stabilized and the people can move freely. He also promised that when the situation has stabilized, peace talks will begin. He also pledged he will release all those who are detained, who are still under detention in connection with the current conflict. It is worth mentioning here that Anet became a relief center through approval of Twic County Commissioner James Yolkwal in 2004 to deliver services to Abiy IDPs that could not receive food in Abiy town, which was outside the jurisdiction of what is now Warab State. And now we come to recommendations. For Twic and Ngok to live peacefully, the administration of Ngok must be transferred to Abiy town. Number two, we urge the government of Sudan and the government of South Sudan to fully implement the Abiy CPA protocol and speed up the final status of Abiy so as to decide their final status in their referendum. Abiy people should be encouraged to go to their villages of origin and be protected there by UNESCO forces. Start peace talks immediately as soon as possible between Abiy and Twic in order to solve their conflict so that they live peacefully. The government of South Sudan and the government of Sudan and UN must respect the border of South Sudan. The new administration that would be established at ANET, because we hope that the only way to solve this problem is to establish a new administration at ANET, must fall under the jurisdiction of Warab State. As such, all citizens of South Sudan, including Abiy citizens, will feel at home there. The President of the Republic of South Sudan, His Excellency Salva Kiir Mayardit, who pledged to release the detained commissioner of Twic, must be upheld. And that is the end of our press release. All signed by Twic MPs.
Yes, I hope if there is a comment in which the Honorable Kayana Tomakan, who can send back to him.
Okay. Yes, Honorable. Yelka Januel was from the very beginning in your speech. You talk about the ABA, the special forces, and martial forces, which is part of South Sudan SSPDF. Is there any group that can show they were participating in the fighting?
Yes, well, there is no secret about martial forces. I think they were dispatched there early. It was very well known. So I don't think that there is any dispute about the presence of martial forces in Abiy.
Okay. So now, as you are MPs from this county and also MPs from Abiy Secretary in the National Assembly, what is your position now to bring peace between the Twic and Ngok?
Well, I think we have just stated our position in our press release here. But for peace, actually it is both sides who should work for peace. We, as Twic, we have not understood Ngok. What are they saying about peace? Because if they say peace is based on a net being left to Abiy administration, I think that is a non-starter. But if they come up with ideas that make it possible for us, Twic and Ngok, to live together at a net under a different administration, I think that is very much acceptable.
Okay. So after you meet with the President of the Republic, Salva Kiir Mayardit, yes, he has told you that you come to the ground to talk to the people, and the fighting erupted again in a night that resulted to the loss of many lives. Are you still now coming to the area to talk to the people?
No, well, talking to people there, I think is subject to area being peaceful. I think if there are soldiers taken to a net, they are supposed to be increased so that the area around is stabilized. If a net and its surrounding areas are stabilized and the forces are put along the border, the known border, of South Sudan and Kordofan or the Sudan, I think there is no problem. Any country should protect its borders. It is not the Twic that should protect the borders. It is the national government that should know its borders and should be protected. So if the situation is stabilized along the border and a need is stabilized, I think people can move freely. There is no problem. We can move freely and we can go home and talk.
Okay. So now it is today, 26th of October, since the fighting resumed in Naid on 10th of October. What delayed your press release up to today?
Repeat your question.
Yes, you release your press release now. You condemn what happened in Naid, and yes, but it is now almost something like 2 weeks. Yes. What delay your press release about the incident that happened in Naid?
No.
2 weeks ago.
Well, we are sorry for delay, but it is better late than never. It is not the work of one person, so we as MPs of Twic, we work with consultation. We can't just rush out with any press release that has been prepared by two people and you go quickly and release it. So it needs time to work over it and people finish it. And I think that has been our intention, and to do it together is a communal work. It's not the work of few people. It is our work with the MPs, and we should consult ourselves before it is released.
Okay, Honorable Majong Yaka, thank you so much. Do you have any other message you want to tell the community how this conflict is going to be resolved?
Well, as we have said already, the President has pledged to send SSPDF forces to an aid, and as they stabilize that area, I think we tell our people to be patient and follow the directives of the President, because otherwise, if we don't respect, the high authority, I think we'll be making a mistake. But we have to respect, and I think that as soon as the area is well stabilized, I think the rest of other people will come. Even the government authorities will even come to see the people at home.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay, Honorable.
Abraham from Radio Wellington. Can you tell us, as you mentioned earlier, that you met the President last week, I think, and he promised the release of the commissioner. Do you have access to see him? Do you meet him? Or must it be like 5 months now in days? Do you see him? Do he have access to medical facilities, family?
No.
What can you say about that?
Bernard, fortunate. This one. Unfortunately, we have not been accessing the commissioner very easily. It is extremely very difficult. It is after a very long time people can see, but there is much restriction. It's not easy.
Yes, we understand if the conflict started on fighting, some people are displaced in your area from Nene, from Jojo, from even not even more the other South Sudanese areas. How do you describe their situation? Is about for 45,000 IDPs?
It is true.
How they are now?
No, the situation is extremely very bad. We know the situation. We went ourselves. And I think nothing has improved after that, because there is no continuous relief we are seeing being sent to them. There are no... they are sleeping in the open places. No enough tents, no mosquito nets. The rain is beating them, So we know they have a very difficult situation. There is a very difficult situation. And one of the things that must be done if there is peace is actually to start with relief to those people who have been displaced.
Yes, I want to repeat the same questions. Do you ask the President to follow the promise for the release of the commissioner?
We are following up. We are following up. We have never gone, and this is why we put it in the press release. Actually, the press release also is the eye opener that we are talking about the commissioner.
Okay, Honorable Major, as the MPs of the Parliament, what should be the way forward in the war between Twic and Ngok? What should be the way forward?
Well, people will come up with many ideas, but what I said before, you know, the way forward is usually for the two combatants actually to come to a common ground. A common ground where for us, we feel that, do we have any problem? We don't have any problem. It is the people whom we have settled in our land that have the problem. It is mostly their problem. And if they are ready to talk, I think we will be lazy to listen. You know, we are not against them. We don't want to actually say, we don't want to say with Ngok people. No, those who are vulnerable and stay in a net as long as they can, I think they are welcome. But the Ngok should give us definite answers about the border we inherited on 1st January 1956 at the independence of Sudan. Is that border, does it exist? If they admit that it exists, what is the problem? What then is the fighting about?
Honorable, you talk of peace talk between Ngok and the Twic community. Does it mean that you don't consider the peace agreement that you have signed in a will, cessation of hostilities, or what do you want to say?
No, well, the one that was, if it has failed, the one that was done in a will, if the peace talks done in a will are not working, they are not being implemented, who is then to be asked for that non-implementation? It means they died at the end of the conference itself. It cannot be answered by anybody here because we didn't see the recommendations working at home. If they don't work at home, what is the meaning? It seems they are not working at home, they are dead.
That's why you're calling for the new peace talk.
Exactly.
I have only one question, Honorable Major. Are you in a position to protect the children in a situation of injustice as a member of Parliament?
Which children? Children in Twic or in
Twic,
South Sudan?
In Twic.
Yes, yeah. In fact, I think the flight we are talking about in South Sudan today is involving very vulnerable people. That is the women, the youth, and the children.
How do you serve the displaced people?
Yeah, this is actually the problem. Is not what I can answer. This is, you know, it depends on peace. And when there is peace, it means you can attract non-governmental organizations to come to help. Since the government will have little to offer, then these non-governmental organizations can bring relief to people.
How do you serve them now before you sign the peace agreement?
Well, by now, you know, I think there is little that is going to them. There is little that is going to them in terms of medical services being offered by MSF, I think at Mayanabun. Although little, I think it's better than nothing.
Okay, my last question to you. Why is it that very hard for you to assess to see the commissioner?
Well, that one I cannot answer because we go through the authority that detained the commissioner, and we are not getting a way forward. We don't get an easy answer. The was detained by the vice president, and when we go to him, it is even hard to answer. He gives us very little answer to why he is still detaining the commissioner.
The commissioner has been 5 years in prison.
Yes, okay, Honorable, sorry. Today also, as you said, that the fees that was been signed in a will is not working, is not functioning. Today also, civil society members from Twic here, youth and women and even chiefs from Twic and ABA, today they travel to WOW to have a peace conference. Are you aware of that peace conference that is going to take place for 3 days, which is organized by the IOM?
Yeah, it just I heard of that today. But to have initiatives that lead to peace, I think they are welcome. If there is that initiative that is taking place between Ngog and Twic in WOW, I think is welcome. Because these initiatives, if they start at the base, that is, if they start at the grassroots level, these are the ones that will usually succeed. So I hope that those efforts to start peace with Ngog are started at the grassroots level. So we welcome them. I think we welcome that effort to try to bring about peace by different groups.
I was asking about the 5 months.
Thank you.
The county is out, commissioner, nobody's taking care, even security affairs of the citizen. How the normal activities, day-to-day activities be run in Twic County in absence of the commissioner?
Of the commissioner. Yeah. Well, that is the question of that should have been directed to the governor, because how is it going on without the commissioner? I think that is not my question. It is the one you can answer. I cannot answer that question.
Well, Honorable, Dr. Majoya, our people are suffering back home, the IDPs, and we have heard that there has been a fundraising that has been done in Juba, which has accumulated a huge number of money. But as for now, the IDPs are still facing a dire humanitarian situation. What will you say on this?
Well, you know, in fact, what I am saying, you know, when you hold fundraising here, and you get that much money, for example, that will never solve the problem of the big number of displaced people as in Twic. It's extremely difficult. The little that you can get and put there just is a drop in the ocean. The only way actually is to open the services as before, when they were in a need, for the big organizations, the agencies, actually to come to their aid. I know what we did last time, even if something had reached them, just a drop in the ocean, it will not solve the problem of the people, of the displaced people.
Okay, Honorable Major, why is it SSPDF station is not at the border between South and North? Why is it SSPDF station is not at the border between North and South as a member of Parliament?
That is what we want. This is what we stated here. We said that the SSPDF forces must be stationed at Akanyal, at Joljok, at what? That is at the border. That is our request. So if they are not stationed there, then it lies with the higher authority who can decide on this. Okay.
The fact-finding committee was supposed to handle the conflict between the two communities in a time frame. As now, things are still deteriorating. Are you having trust on the committee anymore, or
no?
Do you have any suggestion?
Well, you know, the high-level committee was formed at a very high level. And when I am talking with you here, I cannot disqualify it. You know, it is not my competence to go in to say it is not working, it's working, and so on. What we can say, which is not working, is whether the recommendations that have been arrived at are working. Are they working? So it is for you even to answer.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Please feel free to suggest any topics to be covered by South Sudan Diversity, and remember to subscribe if you like what you see.